I understand English but I can't speak well. Lena understood every English word, every intricate nuance. Her mind processed complex sentences with surprising ease, grasping meanings from books, movies, and conversations around her. Yet, a peculiar silence often enveloped her when it came to speaking. This internal fluency rarely translated into vocal expression, leaving her feeling perpetually on the sidelines. When it was her turn to speak, her tongue felt heavy, her thoughts tangled. The perfectly formed sentences in her head evaporated into hesitant stutters or complete silence. Frustration mounted with each missed opportunity to connect, to share her opinions, to simply participate in the vibrant English-speaking world. She yearned for change deeply. This silent barrier became a constant source of quiet despair. She watched others effortlessly converse, their words flowing like a river, while hers remained dammed. The fear of making mistakes, of sounding awkward or unintelligent, loomed large, stifling her natural desire for communication. It was a tough, internal battle daily. She longed to join conversations effortlessly, to express her humor, her insights, her very personality. She wanted to articulate complex ideas, discuss diverse topics, and build genuine connections with people from different cultures. This yearning grew stronger with each passing day, pushing her towards a crucial decision. One evening, after another silent encounter, a strong determination ignited within Lena. She was tired of being a listener, a bystander. She decided it was time to actively break through her speaking barrier. This commitment marked the true beginning of her transformative journey, filled with tiny, powerful steps forward. Lena learned about the power of small, consistent steps. The idea of immediate fluency was daunting and paralyzing. Instead, she focused on taking minuscule, manageable actions daily. Start step-by-step talking became her mantra, a gentle reminder that progress, not perfection, was the ultimate goal. Her first step was simply repeating phrases she heard. While watching a movie, she would pause and mimic a character's line, focusing on intonation and rhythm. No pressure, just a gentle whisper to herself, getting her mouth accustomed to forming English sounds. No pressure, just a gentle whisper, a soft articulation of words. She didn't worry about perfect grammar or complex vocabulary initially. The goal was simply to get her vocal cords moving, to feel the sounds forming in her mouth. This foundational comfort was surprisingly liberating for her. This tiny habit built foundational comfort and reduced the overwhelming fear of speaking. It was a safe, private space to experiment without judgment. Each whispered word, each repeated phrase, chipped away at the wall of apprehension, slowly but surely paving the way for louder, more confident expressions later. She celebrated these micro-victories internally. A perfectly mimicked phrase, a clear pronunciation of a tricky word, these small successes fueled her motivation. Lena understood that building confidence was a gradual process, powered by consistent, positive reinforcement from her own dedicated efforts. Her apartment became her linguistic sanctuary. Start talking at home was not just advice, it was a liberating permission slip. Here, she could experiment, make mistakes, and practice without the watchful eyes of others. This freedom was crucial for her initial breakthroughs. She talked to herself while cooking, narrating her actions aloud. First, I'm chopping the onions very finely. Then, I'll sauté them until they're golden brown and fragrant. This mundane activity transformed into a practical speaking exercise, making English a part of her everyday life naturally. Describing her day out loud was a habit she cultivated diligently. Today, I went to the market, and bought fresh vegetables. The weather was a bit cloudy, but I enjoyed my walk. This simple narration helped her articulate thoughts and organize sentences spontaneously, improving her fluency considerably. The mirror became her non-judgmental audience. She practiced introducing herself, describing her hobbies, and even rehearsing imaginary conversations. Looking herself in the eye while speaking helped her connect her voice with her presence, building a sense of self-assurance slowly but surely. This private practice reduced anxiety greatly, creating a comfortable base. The more she spoke alone, the less foreign the sounds felt. It was a crucial step in internalizing the language, transforming it from an external subject into an intrinsic part of her communication toolkit, building confidence. Lena started paying close attention to how other people talk in English. She observed native speakers, not just in conversations but also in podcasts, interviews, and even casual street interactions. She was learning to be an active, analytical listener, absorbing the nuances. She noticed intonation, rhythm, and common phrases that made conversations sound natural and effortless. She paid attention to how they expressed agreement, disagreement, or surprise. These observations provided a valuable blueprint for developing her own more authentic English-speaking style. Online videos became her daily study material. She watched interviews, vlogs, and documentaries, consciously noting pronunciation and natural sentence flow. It wasn't just passive entertainment, it was a focused immersion experience designed to fine-tune her auditory comprehension and speaking mimicry. She mimicked their pronunciation subtly, trying to replicate the sound she heard. Sometimes, she would pause a video and repeat a sentence multiple times, attempting to match the speaker's accent and rhythm precisely. This active imitation refined her own speech patterns significantly. This observation refined her own speech patterns and helped her sound more natural. She began to internalize common expressions and idiomatic phrases, which made her eventual spoken English sound less formal and more native-like. Learning from real-world examples was incredibly powerful. Confidence wasn't a sudden gift, it was painstakingly built, one word at a time. How make confidence in speaking became a primary focus. Lena realized that true confidence stemmed not from perfection, but from the willingness to try, to stumble, and to keep going. It grew with each successful sentence spoken, no matter how short or simple. Every time she managed to articulate a thought clearly, even to herself, a tiny boost of self-assurance blossomed. These small wins accumulated, forming a solid foundation for greater courage later. She embraced mistakes as learning opportunities rather than failures. When she mispronounced a word or used incorrect grammar, she gently corrected herself and moved on. This shift in mindset was pivotal, transforming potential discouragement into valuable lessons for future improvement. Self-compassion replaced harsh self-criticism. Lena learned to be kind to herself throughout the process, acknowledging that learning a new language is inherently challenging. This gentle approach allowed her to persist without succumbing to overwhelming self-doubt, fostering resilience. Celebrating progress, however small, fueled her journey. After a week of consistent practice, she would acknowledge her efforts and achievements. This positive reinforcement loop was essential for maintaining motivation and building the robust self-belief required for sustained improvement in speaking. Consistency became her unwavering guide for how to practice English. She established a daily routine, even if it was just for 15 minutes. The regularity, more than the duration, proved to be the most impactful factor in her gradual but undeniable progress and improvement. She used language exchange apps tentatively at first, seeking partners who were patient and encouraging. These interactions were nerve-wracking initially, but gradually became more comfortable. Speaking with real people, even briefly, was a crucial step outside her comfort zone. Short conversations with understanding partners were invaluable. She focused on simple exchanges, asking and answering basic questions, describing her day, or talking about her hobbies. These low-stakes interactions built her conversational stamina and reduced her speaking anxiety significantly. Describing pictures aloud was a fun exercise she incorporated. She would find an interesting image online and articulate everything she saw, using descriptive adjectives and verbs. This helped expand her spontaneous vocabulary usage and construct detailed sentences on the fly. Recording her voice helped identify areas for improvement, like pronunciation or intonation. Listening back to herself was sometimes uncomfortable but incredibly insightful. It allowed her to objectively assess her progress and pinpoint specific aspects needing further attention and practice. Learning wasn't just about speaking. How to learn English encompassed a holistic approach. Lena understood that strong speaking skills were built upon a solid foundation of listening, reading, and vocabulary acquisition. It was an interconnected web of linguistic development. She immersed herself in English media daily, creating an environment rich with the language. This wasn't just about active study, it was about passive exposure. Her ears and mind constantly absorbed authentic English, even when she wasn't actively practicing speaking herself. Podcasts during commutes, movies with subtitles during downtime, and English music while exercising became her constant companions. This pervasive immersion normalized the language, making it feel less like a foreign subject and more like a natural part of her daily existence and routine. New vocabulary was learned in context always, not just from isolated lists. When she encountered an unfamiliar word in a book or conversation, she would look it up and try to use it in her next internal monologue or practice session. This cemented its meaning effectively. Language learning was a holistic journey, blending all skills synergistically. Each aspect supported the others, creating a robust framework for fluency. Lena recognized that consistent effort across all domains amplified her overall progress and boosted her confidence remarkably. A friend suggested a simple yet powerful technique: talk in English just 1 page per day. This seemed incredibly manageable, almost too easy. Lena decided to give it a try, choosing a simple English novel she had always wanted to read for leisure. Lena picked an engaging novel she loved, something with a compelling story that would hold her interest. This ensured that reading wasn't a chore but an enjoyable activity. The pleasure of the story motivated her to stick to her daily one-page goal consistently. She read it aloud, even if softly, articulating each word carefully. Sometimes she stumbled, but she kept going, focusing on the flow of the sentences. This practice linked the visual act of reading with the physical act of speaking, strengthening the connection significantly. This simple act built vocabulary naturally, as she encountered new words in context. The story provided clues to their meanings, making them easier to remember and later recall for her own speaking. It was a painless way to expand her lexical range quickly. It also improved her pronunciation steadily, as she voiced words she might only have seen written before. The rhythm and intonation of written English started to imprint themselves on her spoken patterns. This daily reading became a powerful secret weapon for her. Why reading is important became profoundly clear to Lena. Reading expanded her grammatical understanding beyond what textbooks could offer. She absorbed correct sentence structures and punctuation naturally, without consciously memorizing rules, which was a huge relief for her. It exposed her to diverse sentence structures, ranging from simple to complex, formal to informal. This exposure broadened her expressive capabilities, allowing her to articulate ideas with greater sophistication and variety in her own spoken English naturally. Her mind absorbed new idioms and expressions, seeing them used authentically within narratives. This contextual learning made these often tricky phrases much easier to understand and, eventually, to incorporate into her own conversations, making her sound more natural. It provided topics for future conversations too. Having read about various subjects, historical events, or cultural aspects, she had more to talk about, reducing awkward silences. Reading fueled her intellectual curiosity and provided excellent speaking material. Reading silently also solidified comprehension skills, which are foundational for effective communication. The ability to quickly grasp meaning from written text translated into faster processing of spoken English, allowing for more fluid and responsive conversations in real time. Weeks turned into months of diligent, consistent effort. Lena didn't see a dramatic overnight transformation, but the accumulation of small steps was undeniable. Her dedication began to yield tangible results, slowly but surely shaping her linguistic abilities. Lena noticed a subtle shift within herself. The fear that once gripped her tongue started to loosen its hold. She felt a growing sense of readiness, an almost imperceptible urge to speak up, to join in discussions, and share her thoughts. Hesitation began to fade, replaced by a nascent flow. Her words still weren't perfect, but they came out more readily, with less internal struggle. The pauses between her thoughts and their articulation shortened significantly, a remarkable improvement for her. She found herself participating more actively in online group discussions and even venturing a few words with English-speaking colleagues. Each small interaction, however brief, reinforced her burgeoning confidence and spurred her to continue pushing her boundaries. Then, one afternoon, it happened. A real conversation, fluid and natural, unfolded with a new acquaintance. She spoke for several minutes without a significant pause, expressing her opinions clearly and understanding responses effortlessly. It was a profound breakthrough moment. The joy of expressing herself freely was immense, an exhilarating sense of liberation. Lena finally felt truly present and engaged in English conversations, no longer just a passive observer. Her voice had found its power and its purpose. Her voice, once timid and barely audible, now resonated clearly and confidently. She could articulate her thoughts, debate ideas, and even crack jokes in English, feeling fully herself in the language. The transformation was truly remarkable and inspiring. Lena had truly found her English voice, not through a magic shortcut, but through persistent, smart work. Her journey was a testament to the power of breaking down a large goal into manageable daily actions. She had conquered her fear. Her journey proved consistent, small steps, taken daily, lead to monumental achievements. It wasn't about being brilliant overnight but about showing up consistently and bravely facing the challenge of speaking, even when it felt difficult. Anyone can transform their speaking ability, just like Lena. The secret lies in starting small, practicing consistently at home, observing others, building confidence through action, embracing reading, and committing to daily progress. Your voice awaits its moment.